I started using at the age of 14.
I dove into everything really in 1996 behind the death of my son.
I started off drinking beer on the weekends, and it graduated to a little marijuana.
The alcohol came and I just, gallon after gallon after gallon.
I ended up being homeless, and I had $60 in my pocket. I didn't know what to do.
I stayed everywhere, from the police station, in the hallways, on cardboard boxes I would find.
I started living in abandoned buildings with rats, roaches, no doors.
I did everything but ate out of a garbage can.
I just didn't want to feel pain, didn't want to cry, didn't want reality. I really didn't, because it was so much easier to be high.
I Googled search HIV, AIDS, Chicago, help, and Bonaventure House came up. And in that moment, I walked to the bus station with all my things in garbage bags.
Bonaventure House and the Harbor are both transitional living facilities. They are recovery homes where people who are HIV positive can live for up to 2 years.
We're going to get started with reading the group rules.
In order to qualify for our services, people must be homeless and have a diagnosis of HIV. Most have a significant mental illness. Many also have TB or hepatitis or uncontrolled diabetes and have not had access to health care for those issues.
The fit between what the brothers are and Bonaventure House is perfect. It really is a match made in heaven.
Any other comments? Maurice?
Sharing with my family about my addiction.
Wherever we serve people that no one else wants to take care of is an expression of who the brothers are.
Going back to 1989, as the trajectory of AIDS itself has changed over time, now the AIDS ministry is a complete part of everything that we do in acute care and in mental health care and now in housing.
My 7th year of being clean and sober, and that's the longest I ever been clean and sober in my entire life.
I have 8 months of sobriety now. I'm very active. I volunteer. I do things here in the house. I work with my sponsor. I go to a meeting every single day.
It's often very, very hard for people with HIV to lease an apartment. So we now have 20-some at Bettendorf Place.
Bettendorf is a little different. It is permanent supportive housing, so they are apartments where individuals have a more independent lifestyle.
To hear people talk about sleeping on a bench in Lincoln Park for years.
I have been in the snow, in the rain, in the sleet, trying to give me a cardboard for my roof.
And now they have a clean apartment with utilities, with running water, with a kitchen where they can eat, a social worker that helps them with job applications and with banking.
Now I got a real roof over my head.
That's a miracle.
I feel like a kid in the candy store. I'm so happy and excited that I have my own now. It's awesome.
My mother passed December 6th. Her death made me very depressed, and so I pretty much stayed to myself. And I wasn't taking my medications. Last time I talked to my doctor, he said, I don't have you making it past your birthday in April. That was pretty much a reality check for me. So I started taking my medication. God's not done with me yet.
At all sites, we provide case management, occupational therapy, recovery support, and other supportive services.
I remember when I was in my addiction, I knew there was a God, but I didn't think he loved me. But when I came here, I allowed myself to open up spiritually to God, to surrender. And once he took over, man, he took over.
When you can be a part of people reclaiming what was lost, It's the prodigal son all over again, because that which was lost is saved. That which was dead has returned to life.
Things are just going better than I could imagine.
I'm right where I'm supposed to be, and I'm glad that Bonaventure took a chance and let me come and start over.
The old me isn't anything I want to be again. I don't want to be heartless.
You cannot place a value on helping someone to find their way back to God. It is their salvation. And we can't do it alone.
There is really no other opportunity for us to sustain this mission and to sustain the ministry without the extraordinary support of the donors that have been so helpful to us over the past 20 years.
Our residents need people who really hear the message of Jesus.
If you were to take a step back and say, why should I support this program? I would say, look at the stories of the individuals who we've taken care of and we've supported over the last 20 plus years. Their stories are extraordinary.
Positive things are happening in my life.
I got a job at Chase Bank.
I'm in school for electrical construction and maintenance.
I want to be a labor and delivery nurse.
And it's just such a privilege to have your own keys. You know, sometimes I just pick up my keys, just jingling. Now I have a home and my own keys that I can get in. I don't have to knock on the door no more.
Is this something that you want to support? I think the answer is of course.
Thank you is so easy to say, and it sounds so simple, but I wish I had those big words to say so much more.
I would like to just thank the donors for allowing us to have a place to go, a life-saving place to go.
Before finding this place, I was gonna just give up. And it took one simple search: HIV, Chicago, help. And I found it. I found where I need to be.
Every time I turn my back on someone in need, I've turned my back on everything that I say I believe. And in my mind's eye, I see Jesus turn with a tear in his eye, and he says, when you failed to do it to the least of my brothers and sisters, you failed to do it to me.